It starts the second you wake up. A text from a colleague, 3 emails, a calendar alert, 4 likes on a photo. Your phone pings and vibrates with dozens of tiny interactions before you've even left your bed. You might have 500 followers watching your story right now. But if your car breaks down at 2 a.m. or you get a difficult diagnosis from a doctor, how many of those people can you actually call? For most of human history, survival depended on being part of a tight-knit group. When your brain processes today's constant stream of digital micro-interactions, it misinterprets the data. It sees the volume of chatter and assumes you are safely embedded within a physical tribe. But the demographic data tells a different story. While digital connections have climbed exponentially, the number of close friendships reported by the average person has cratered. By the numbers, this is the loneliest generation on record. We are consuming massive amounts of interaction, but we aren't achieving emotional fulfillment. We have mistaken the feeling of connection for the reality of belonging. Most modern communication is asynchronous. You send a text, you wait for a reply. It is rapid and text-based, but it is also completely stripped of real-time reaction. Social platforms are deliberately designed to be frictionless. User input bypasses social obstacles, moving directly to a reward loop. It mimics genuine interaction to trigger dopamine. But while that reward loop pulses, the emotional satiety gauge stays empty. The brain registers activity without feeling nourishment. True conversation operates on a different mechanical system. It requires what researchers call interpersonal friction. This friction is made of vulnerability, the awkwardness of a long pause, the physical presence of another person, and subtle shifts in vocal tone. By optimizing tools to eliminate that friction, we've removed the conditions required to build human intimacy. That trick works during the busy hours, but eventually the noise stops, the lights go out, and you are left in a silent room. Think of digital pings as social junk food. They trick your psychology into feeling temporarily full, satisfying an immediate, sharp craving for attention without providing any lasting substance. Because you feel artificially full, you avoid the difficult work of seeking out deep, actual relationships. You skip the effort of showing up because the screen convinced you that you already have. Then the phone goes dark, the artificial dopamine drip stops, and the crash is immediate. The digital tribe illusion vanishes, leaving you to handle an emotional breakdown in total isolation. You realize that while you are being connected, you are actually becoming entirely alone. A diet of digital connection leaves us malnourished. When a real-life crisis strikes, we find we have no emotional reserves to draw from. In the silence of that room, you're left with one question: who actually knows you? Connection is a technical state. It is the algorithmic reality of being linked on a network. It is data moving from one point to another. Belonging is a psychological state. It is the experience of being truly seen and accepted by another human being. You cannot solve a deficit of belonging by increasing your follower count. Attempting to fix loneliness with more screen time is like trying to hydrate with salt water. Moving forward requires shifting from the passive collection of an audience to the active, often difficult work of building a physical community. The loneliness epidemic won't end until we recognize that these two things are not the same. Connection does not equal belonging.